we've got a little bit of a problem here.
What's the problem?
So we're recording this on May 31st, 2017. It's about 10 to 6. And yesterday, House of Cards came back on Netflix.
Oh, that is a problem.
Well, it's a problem because, like, I love doing this show. I love doing it. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, no, go back and go finish watching House of Cards. It's there for you.
You need Frank Underwood.
It's calling me.
Yeah.
And
is that season 5 now?
It's season 5.
Okay.
Have you watched any of it yet?
3 of them.
3 of them. Okay.
Yeah.
This season so far is pretty great. I'm only about 4 episodes in, I think.
Yeah.
But
you're watching it the old-fashioned way, just like episode by episode.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes. I don't know. How else would you watch a show other than episode by episode?
First last.
Oh, yeah. No, but here's the thing. The show isn't done yet.
Oh,
so I can't
exactly.
do it that way.
Exactly. Those rules don't apply when the show is not finished.
Yeah, if the show is currently airing, if it's still on the air, you can't first last it. It just doesn't work.
No, you can't.
I've tried it before. It was a mess.
So how far did you get through House of Cards so far, since it was put up yesterday?
4 episodes.
Okay, and how many are in a season?
Which isn't great, but...
Yeah, how many are in the season? 12?
13 maybe?
Okay.
I feel like that's like the standard.
Yeah,
for them.
So you really could have done a little better.
I would be doing a lot better if not for 2 things holding me back. First, this podcast.
Yeah.
This podcast holds me back in life.
Well, yeah, usually.
Yeah, and work.
Work holds a lot of things back.
Yeah, so if I could just stop working, still collect the money though. The paycheck can still come in. If I could stop doing that, I would have plenty of time to watch House of Cards.
Yeah, exactly. I figured there's 2 main things in life that hold me back from doing everything I want to do, and one is work, and the second one is sleep. Without these 2 things, I could do so much.
I know there's people who love to sleep. If I could like train my body to never sleep, I would do it in a heartbeat.
For sure. I've actually thought about that before. I was like, I wonder if I can train my body to just survive on maybe 2 naps a day of 2 hours and then just have all the other time.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
That'd be great. I get so much done.
I don't need the 8 hours of sleep. I mean, I guess I don't normally get it anyway, but I mean, as of right now, I need that sleep to function.
Exactly. Yeah, to function. I know. It's just, there'd be way more time to get stuff done. And like, when I say get stuff done, I mean like watch more shows and read more books.
Exactly. Yeah.
Obviously,
I'm not
right?
going to do anything productive.
That's what get stuff done means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we'll get through this as fast as we can.
Okay, we'll speed around this one.
Okay. We can do that. No, we can't, because I have something else I want to bring up too.
Okay, well, that's on you then.
I know. You can blame this on me.
Yeah, no more complaining about House of Cards if you're just going to bring stuff up.
Well, I'm not saying we're going to spend an hour on this.
Okay.
So, I have found that I have a very addictive personality.
Oh, yeah, I hear you.
Where I become incredibly fanatic about something. It's not it's not everything. I pick and choose the things that I'm fanatical about. But when I get into something, I just get in hard. I jump straight in the pool.
Yeah, when I came to visit you, we had one conversation during that time where it was a little bit scary because I realized we're almost the same person. Because that is I know exactly what you mean. Like, you just jump from thing to thing, and when it's that time for that thing, you learn everything about it.
Yep.
And you just, 100% it's all you do, right? And then something else comes along, and you jump onto that thing.
Right. When I'm not sleeping and I'm not working, I'm doing that thing. And you know what? It's not even that I'm doing that thing. It might just be that I'm reading about other people doing the thing.
Totally, yeah.
I find pleasure from watching other people do the things that make me happy too.
Oh yeah, like YouTube. I'll just watch YouTube videos of the thing, whatever it is.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna pick right now. We talked about it on the show before. Board games.
Yeah.
Okay. At this rate, I have like 3 games showing up this week. Okay. And that's almost becoming the norm for me.
Wow.
And so when I'm not playing, though, which I actually don't get to play all that often, unless it's a solo game, like I have to trick Sarah into playing with me.
Yeah.
Because
you gotta be tricksy.
I don't have like a core like gaming group like a lot of people have.
Yeah.
So I actually most of my time spent interacting with the hobby isn't even playing the games.
Okay.
Just like you mentioned before, YouTube videos. Yeah. I subscribe to the Dice Tower on YouTube. If you want to know anything about board games at all, look up the Dice Tower. Those guys are great. I've watched like I'm trying to think of a show that went on for a really long time, has a bunch of seasons, and I've seen all the episodes of, and I'm trying to think if any of those match the hours that I've put into watching the Dice Tower. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll have the video up, and I can have it up on the TV. We got one of those smart TVs, so I can have it up in the living room, have the video up there, and I'll be on my phone scrolling through other board game related stuff.
Oh yeah, totally.
And
your life is just all about it.
Right. And I started thinking, is this like a disease? Is this a bad thing that I do this, that I become so obsessive about this stuff that I almost like shut out everything else in life?
Okay, so here's the thing. You have an addictive personality.
Right.
But you are channeling it in board games, in comics, in Stephen King novels, all very healthy things, right? You could be channeling that into meth.
Right, it could be drugs. I always told my mom that growing up. She'd tell me, you spend way too much money on books. And I told her it could be drugs.
Yeah, it could be something that could be killing me.
Yeah.
Right?
There's sometimes where she would probably rather me be spending it on drugs. Not heavy stuff or anything like that.
Right, yeah. Just like recreational, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like marijuana or something.
Like I could probably tell my mom at this point, hey Mom, I just spent $50 on pot. I don't know how much that would yield me. But I spent $50 on pot, and she would probably be more accepting of that than if I said I just spent $50 on board games or
right.
or books.
She'd be like, well, at least it wasn't the $100 you spent on board games last week.
Right.
At least this hobby is a little bit cheaper.
Yeah. So I asked myself, is this a problem? And this isn't the first time I've asked myself this question. I ask myself this question every time I get like super involved in something. Right. And I always come up with the same answer. No, shut up. Stop asking that question.
Yeah.
Just have fun.
It better be no. Yeah, exactly. So I do the same thing, and when I move on to a new thing, then I feel like I've shunned the old thing. Right? So if I get really into I got really into card tricks at one point in time, and then I just stopped. And I got into something else. And now I'm like, what? Have I done card tricks justice? I got so into card tricks. I know absolutely everything about a card trick, but I'll never do one again in my life. That feels like I wasted my time. But that's not really it, because that time spent then was all I wanted to do.
Exactly. Right? Do you get a pit in your stomach? I got this because I go through different phases. And so I had done the board game thing before a couple years ago, and then I have them set up in my room here, and when I wasn't playing them, every so often I'd look over and I'd see the board games, and I would just feel like I'm neglecting them. Yeah, like I'm doing something wrong.
Definitely, yeah.
I have all this stuff here, and they're just sitting there.
Yeah, that's my comic book shelf staring at me every day. It's just Dean, you put in so much money into us, and you did all the research. We're the best books out there. You should probably read us someday.
I don't even want to. Dean, I feel like if the both of us totaled up all the money that we've spent on different things that we've become fanatical about.
Oh my goodness.
It would be sickening.
It would actually be sickening. I throw those receipts away on purpose. Like it would make somebody very, very worried for us.
At the comic book store, I trust the guy who runs it. So I don't even want to know the total. I just rings it up and I just give him the card.
Give him the card, yeah. Just hide the total. Yep. It's all good.
Yep. I don't want to know what it is because I'm gonna get it anyway. You know, but I don't want to feel like guilty. Not guilty. I don't feel guilty. But almost like sickened.
I know what it is, yeah.
To hear the total.
Yeah, I know. I feel the same way.
Yeah. Now, people, keep in mind, I'm by no means rich. I just want to throw that out there, too. I probably spend more than I should on it, but that doesn't mean that I have a lot of money.
Right, yeah.
So, I'm not going to stop, though.
No, so I got one issue now.
Okay.
So, I put my whole 31st year in your hands, and all you did was pick what you were fanatical about at this moment. I feel like you didn't put the thought into that.
No. I did, because I told you before, when I made that pick, that was me being selfish. Because now I'm going to have someone else. Because here's the thing. When you were into card tricks, how many of your friends were like, ooh, card tricks are awesome. Let me let me card trick with you.
I'm going to go with 0.
Right. Which is, I mean, that's a...
That's generous.
That, yeah.
That's a generous percentage, 0.
And so when I was into board games before, I had, like I said, I had Sarah to play. I'd get together with friends sometimes and we'd bring out the games. But I didn't have that, like, core person to talk to.
Right.
About it. So
are we gonna Skype some gameplay?
Are we going to what?
Skype some gameplay? Are we going to play some games over Skype? I think
we're going to have to do like some live plays.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, we'll get cameras involved. I'll put on pants for the show.
I still won't, but that's just how I do.
I want to be kind to our viewers and
yeah, I guess that's a good point.
Viewers.
I mean, I visited you and I still didn't wear pants.
It was a little weird at first.
Yeah.
At first. But
you get used to it.
You do. I really thought it would be a really awkward weekend.
Yeah.
But
it's just like
after the first Saturday and Sunday, the weekend was good. It was fun.
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, I got this. It's like when you go to a European beach. Right? And you're like, wow, there are a lot of Speedos around. I can see a lot of packages. And then, like, after a couple hours, you're like, oh, that's just normal. I think I'm going to get one for myself.
You know, I don't think I've ever been in that situation. And if I was, I can't pass any judgment. I can't make any calls at this point because I've never been in the situation. But it sounds like you have. How many Speedos do you own?
It's just, I don't actually own any, but I would buy one.
Borrow that? Oh, okay. I was just saying.
Yeah, no. It is just one of those situations where you're like, whoa, this is weird. This is not what I'm used to. And then, like, it will only take a couple of minutes, maybe an hour, and you'll be like, you know what? This is totally fine, and I want to join in. It looks like they're having a much better time than I am.
Welcome to the First Last Podcast with Alex and Dean. Again, Alex and Dean. Just like to point that out.
Yep, that's the way it is. It's the way it's always been.
This is the show where we watch the first episode and we watch the last episode of a TV show and we become experts on it and we tell you everything you need to know about the show.
Yep.
Later we'll rate it. We'll give it some sort of rating that isn't picked arbitrarily, depending on the feelings that we have at the time of the recording.
Never. It's always well thought out.
Yes, I put a lot of time into these ratings. I've never once come into a show without knowing a rating.
Interesting. That's not what you told me.
No?
No. You told me you've never come into a show with a rating.
With a rating.
Which I think is the opposite of what you just said.
You know what confuses me a little bit, though? And as I say the words too, it can throw me off when we're on the show, so I have to like slow down and like piece it together in my head. We say show for both the TV shows and our podcast.
It's super confusing.
Yeah,
we
so
are
I don't
not
know
very
what
clear.
We're talking about.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
Like,
Let's get this together,
rating,
man.
Are we rating our podcast?
We are not. We are definitely not rating our podcast because then they'd all be 10s across the board. Am I right?
I need to change my rating.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have a high one and now it's going low, or did you have a low one and now it's going high?
You know, see, at the beginning of this conversation, I think that I said that I don't come into the show with a rating. I don't remember now, so now I'm getting mixed up, and I feel like the whole thing's falling apart right now.
Okay, what show are we talking about?
We're talking. Well, it was your show. I'll let you introduce it. People, this is a Dean. No, it was my show.
It wasn't my show.
Oh,
it was a you
show. This was going to be your show. And
you picked a show.
Like everything else, I steal your ideas.
Yeah, you picked a show this week that was legitimately the next show on a list I have.
Dean makes lists.
That's why I love lists.
I love
it's actually it's part of this.
I knew a kid in grade school who had a list. He got suspended.
What was his list?
You don't want to be on that list.
Oh,
yeah.
One of those lists.
He got suspended.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, this is a different list though, people.
Yeah,
this is different. It was my pick. Sorry, but it was going to be your pick.
Yeah, it was going to be my pick next week, but It happened to be your pick this week.
What I did was I contacted Laura, and I had her send me your list, so I can steal all of the ideas.
So you can poach them, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I know what your next pick's going to be. Yeah.
Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, oh, that was it. That was actually it. You nailed it.
I know. Well, you don't have to tell me that. I have your list.
You have the list, obviously.
So, no, tonight we're doing Freaks and Geeks. And
yes, we are.
This was the show that Sarah and I had watched. I don't know how many years ago now. We watched the whole thing, and we had certain feelings about it. I'm not going to say what those feelings were because I feel like it would give away my rating.
It might.
We had feelings.
Yeah.
Either positive
you had feelings
or
about a
negative
show
regarding the show, and I thought it'd be a fun one to do. For First Last. I thought it'd be a fun show to do for the show. See?
A fun show for the show.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep. It'd be a fun podcast for the Freaks and Geeks. Nope.
No, that was wrong. You should just stick with show.
Yes. Show. Yeah. Let the listener figure it out for themselves.
Oh, I like it. I like that. It's like one of those open-ended things. Every time we say show, they have to try to figure out which one we're talking about. And then, they'll have to listen again at the end. They'll be like, oh, I totally want to listen again because he said show, but I thought it was this show, and it's perfect.
Right. So at the end, when we rate the show, I'm probably going to rate our podcast.
Oh, nice. Me too.
That's what's going to happen.
Okay.
No, we're doing Freaks and Geeks, but before we get to that, normally we have a sponsor. We didn't last week. I feel like I definitely came out of left field there with my
you came out of left field. You were the sponsor last week.
I was.
After that happened, the sponsors dropped us.
They did.
So this week we have no sponsor.
But do you think that was because of what I did? It can't be because of what I did.
I'm gonna say 100% maybe.
Was not me.
Was you?
But
maybe it was 95% you.
Oh.
Maybe it wasn't 100%.
Right. There's that other 5% that I'm going to lay on you.
Yeah.
Because
of course. Of course.
Told
yeah.
me.
Of course.
You know No. You knew. So you have the 95% and I have the 5%.
That actually sounds fair. That sounds about right.
That's
yeah, they were like, "Oh, you sponsor your own show? We don't need to sponsor you then." So we kind of lost all our sponsors. Right. We're gonna work hard this week to try to get some back. But now we're kind of out of money. We have no money to run this show. So I was thinking that my day job is this show once a week. That's my day job. Mm-hmm. So I was going to moonlight as a stand-up comedian to try to get some extra money.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Have you had any gigs yet?
No gigs because the thing is, I'm not sure. I've never been a stand-up comedian, so I don't really know how to do it. I don't know if what I think is that you make observations in the world, and then like you make a joke about that.
Okay,
but I don't.
Humor.
Yeah, that thing.
People do that.
So I just don't know.
Okay, you've never done it before.
No.
Do you have any like material? Do you want to like run anything past me?
Yeah, so that's right. I have a few like bits, I guess, of things that I've observed in the world, and what I wanted to do is run it past you.
Okay.
Because you are humor, right? You are someone who is dialed in. And
you know what? That's 100% me.
Yeah, so I wanted to run.
The other thing is 95% you, 5% me. This is 100% me.
Humor, 100% you, yeah. Yep. And I'm definitely not at 100%. Like maybe I'm like, I could be pushing like 38% humor, but I just want to, if I can give a bit that you say is good, then maybe I can use this in my show. So I wanted to find out if I'm funny.
Sure.
By running it by you.
Is Dean funny?
Is Dean funny? Yeah. So on Is Dean Funny, this week, I'm going to lay out a bit that I've thought about that's called Death's Door.
Death's Door. Okay.
Okay, so here's the bit. So lately,
what kind of door is this? Like, what kind of door are we talking about?
Death's Door.
Like, I know, but like, is it like a rotating door? Is it just a regular like knob door? You pull it open. Is it a push pull?
It's a knob door, but like it has a knocker on it.
Okay.
It like has a knocker, probably of Death's face.
I feel like this is. I probably don't need to know this.
Probably not. Like it'll probably be solved.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. So Death's Door. Okay.
So
lately. Okay. You know what?
I'm just letting you know. Like, do you want me to be honest with you?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. So not funny yet. Okay. So start talking, and maybe it'll be funny then. Okay. Not funny with silence. Okay. Here we go. So lately, I've been really into watching lame horror movies. And the other day, I came across one called Knocking on Death's Door. This title confuses me. The only thing I could imagine this movie being about is suicide. When you're in a near-death experience, the idiom often used is at death's door. Why the hell are these guys knocking? If I was in a bad car accident and I woke up in death's neighborhood, the last thing I'm going to do is knock on the door and ask to borrow a cup of sugar. As soon as you realize death lives on this block, I would get the hell out of there. Why would you knock on his door? Hopefully when you knock on death's door, he's out picking up toilet paper, because if he answers, you're done. It is over for you. Do you realize you're doing death's job for him? Of all the professions, I feel like death shouldn't be allowed to work from home. The guy's already allowed to show up in his hooded bathrobe. It's casual Fridays every single day for this guy. Let's at least make him chase you. But no, these idiots are just going right up to the door and knocking. Death could be macking on some chick, and you're just like, excuse me, Mr. Death, sir, I think I might be bleeding out. Talk about killing the mood. Am I right?
Okay.
So, what do you think?
That's the whole thing, right?
Yeah, that's it. I'm done now.
All right. I just want to make sure that I have everything. That I need to accurately and sufficiently critique.
Yeah.
So, before you had started the joke, or a little bit after, and I kind of cut in there.
Right.
I had asked about what the door looked like, and you told me that would be answered later, but you never really did that. Like, I still don't know what the door looks like.
Right.
So, you had me. There was an expectation I had going into this joke.
Right. People want to know about the door.
Right. And you just didn't deliver that.
Right. Door humor.
So, I mean, that...
Okay, sure. so describe the door in there. Somewhere.
I mean,
is what you're saying.
Just wherever you can fit it in, as much as you can fit it in. Because I feel like that's where the joke is in, like, the door details.
In the door. Yes, okay, so is any other part of that funny? Is there any humor in there anywhere? Or do we just got to we got to describe the door?
I mean, I feel like the whole thing revolves around the door. I mean, you
revolves
said
around the door.
So that's like the crux of this.
Right. So, like, all this is meaningless if I don't describe the door.
Exactly, because I don't have a picture in my head.
Right.
Like
okay, good.
You're going up, you're not going to ask for sugar, which, okay, yeah, because you don't want to be killed. I get it. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. You're leading up to, but you get to the door. What does the door look like? You're standing out there with your cup, and what are you knocking on?
Right. No one knows where they're standing. Right. Okay. Okay, so that's a good note. So I got to add in a description of the door.
Well, I would say almost like descriptions.
Descriptions.
Of the door. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if one description would do it.
Oh, okay, like all the different pieces.
Right. So where you're not describing the door, just describe the door.
Ah, okay. So that's most of it. Most of it I'm not describing the door. So I should be describing the door more.
That's
okay.
Really, yeah.
That's a good note.
Yeah,
that's a good note. Yeah, that's a good note. I'll make some adjustments. And so you think after I describe the door a little more, I could take this to a nightclub and it would kill?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think as long as you do the whole door thing, I think it'll go over really well.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So work on the door thing, and if you want, shoot me an email or something. Give me the Give me the revised draft.
Okay, here I'm just spitballing here.
Oh,
should I just scrap like the whole thing and just start describing a door?
See, I didn't want to. I thought that would be too harsh. It's the first time we're doing this, so I didn't want to come right out and say it.
Right.
That you should scrap the joke.
Scrap the whole thing
and thing to have to hear. Right?
Scrap the whole thing and describe a door. Describe what like death's door would look like.
Yeah.
That is funny. You're right.
I mean,
because like death doesn't have a door, so describing it is hilarious.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's good. That's
where
good.
The joke is.
That's gold. Yeah. So, okay. Cool. So I like it.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you, man. That's why I run it by you. You are the 100% humor man. So, like, I knew it just wasn't going to hit otherwise. So go up there, describe death's door. My goodness, those people are going to be rolling on the floor laughing.
You're going to go from 38% to at least 40%.
Oh, man. That'll be good.
It will be.
That'll be good.
So.
Okay, when there's an open mic, I'm rolling with death's door.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I look forward to it.
Okay, so Alex, you always feel like you need to say something off the top when I pick a show. You always feel like it needs to be said that this was Dean's pick and it sucks and all that stuff.
Right.
But yeah. So I'm going to say something off the top because it was your pick.
Oh, okay, so you're coming at me now.
I'm coming right at you. I'm going for the jugular.
You come up and you knock on my door, my red painted, white trimmed door.
Yes. I've seen your door and it's not like that. It's hilarious.
There you go.
Okay. So Freaks and Geeks, that's the show.
Yes.
If you don't know about Freaks and if you don't know about Freaks and Geeks, it is a 1-season show. It got canceled halfway through the first season.
Yeah.
It's an 18-episode show that has a bunch of big names in it when they were teenagers.
Right.
So you got James Franco, you got Jason Segel, give me some others. You got
keep going. Linda Cardinelli.
What? Yeah. What's that other guy's name? Seth Rogen. Yeah, you got Seth Rogen. Yeah, you just got like a lot of big names all together as a cast when they were teenagers. So, and it's like universally loved, right? Like, so, but it only lasted a season. So I've never seen it. And I was thinking, okay, yeah, Freaks and Geeks. I've always wanted to watch this because of everyone in it, but I feel like all that hype is just because all these people became big stars. And everyone's like, oh, remember when they were all in a show together? That was awesome. But I felt like it was definitely not going to live up to the hype, and it was just going to be okay.
Right.
Because,
things can completely crumble under their own hype.
Right. It only lasted a season, right? There's a reason for that. Yeah, it's like when The Hangover came out and Bradley Cooper became huge, and then Blindside came out and... who's in Blindside? What's that girl's name? I'm terrible with names right now.
Sandra Bullock?
Sandra Bullock, there we go. So Sandra Bullock became like, well, she was already huge, but like that was even more, right? So then a movie comes out later called All About Steve with Sandra Bullock and Bradley Cooper, which was filmed before both of those movies, but never released because it's horrible. And then they both do like really well, and so then it gets released and it's horrible. So I thought this was going to kind of be one of those scenarios where it's like, all these people are now famous. So, remember when they were all together? So I was totally ready for this to be just completely mediocre. Mm-hmm. But it does definitely live up. It definitely stands up. It holds up. It's all the ups.
I would say it surpasses the hype.
I would actually also say it surpasses the hype.
Yes.
It was real good. It was real good.
Like,
it was real good.
Like, you feel so much when watching this.
There's a lot of feelings.
Because you can take from the title of the show, this show is about freaks and geeks. Okay. Growing up, I never really fit in with the freaks. Okay. The people who, not that you could do this when I was in high school or anything like that, but the people who go sit outside during lunch at the smoking bleachers or whatever.
Yeah.
Lindsay calls them, and skips classes and does smokes weed, things like that. That was never me. That was never me.
Right? Yeah, me neither.
I can totally relate to the geeks.
Oh yeah, definitely. The geeks are right in our wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. So the show has freaks, obviously the freak group. That's like kind of the smoking, the bleachers, the druggies. It's got the geek group. It's got the jock group. But nobody who's actually in these groups just falls into the stereotypical freak or the stereotypical geek.
Right? They try to. It's okay. It's like there's these labels for people. Okay.
Yeah.
And they fall into these specific categories. And once they're in there, they're there. And the show does a lot of exploring, okay, once you're there, are you staying there yourself?
Yes.
Do you only belong to that one group? Do
yes.
you belong
and
to
like,
others? And if you do find yourself gravitating towards one of the others, does that other group block you out? Do they stop you? Do you stop yourself?
Exactly. Like, if you're part of one group, how does the other group see you?
Right.
And then if they start to get to know you, how does their perception change of you?
Right. How does their perception change of themselves, too?
Exactly. Yes.
So, there's a couple shows that completely nail the growing up as a kid, a teenager.
Yeah.
One of them is Wonder Years.
Yes.
I love that show.
Yeah.
That might be like the pinnacle of like a coming of age TV show.
Yes, definitely.
And this is like right next to it. Wonder Years had a lot more seasons to go off of.
Yeah.
This one unfortunately only had the 18 episodes, but this is right up there with it. If this has the family dynamics too between the Weir family.
Oh yeah.
That is the stereotypical upper middle class. I don't want to say they're not too upper. The dad owns a sporting goods store, kind of upper middle class in a small town.
Yeah.
Feel that's exactly it. The parents are goofy, but not like Disney Channel goofy. No.
Yeah. They're goofy,
like there's a specific group of like Disney parents, and people know
what
I'm talking about.
Yeah, they're not Disney parents. They're parents that like come down hard on anything that isn't like. So if you were to break things down to black and white, anything that's not the white. Right? Like anything that is maybe steering you off the wrong path, which might be just how you're dealing with life and what you want to. Like there's a great point where Lindsay is saying to father. She's like, what are we even talking about? Like, can't we just have a discussion about something? Like, there's no... these parents are just like, what, you're doing this? No.
Yeah, anything that breaks out of their
high school routine, right? Yeah.
Of the norm.
Yeah, exactly.
If you break out of that, Lindsay's dad knew a guy who did exactly that, and you want to know where he's at now? He's dead.
He died. Yeah. He's dead. Yeah. Like, someone saw you smoking? I knew a guy who smoked. He's dead.
Yeah.
What, you wanna have sex before premarital sex? Well, I knew someone who had premarital sex. You know where she is? Dead. Just dead. There's a point where Lindsay says, I skipped class, nobody died.
Right.
It's not everyone has to be dead. It's just that those parental stories are hilarious, right? It's like, oh, really? You knew someone, you're going to get a dog? Well, I knew someone who the dog bit their face off.
Right. Well, one of my favorite lines is when, oh boy, I should be able to, Sam, the son, Lindsay's brother, says, Dad, are any of your friends alive?
Yeah, that was great. And it's really early in the first episode. Yeah. After he's said about 3 people he went to high school with died because of their terrible decisions, he says, are any of your friends alive? And Dad just says, the smart ones are.
Right.
Smart ones are still alive. Yeah, so this show is like, I love high school, obviously. I love high school dramas, right? So...
But this one's real. Okay,
that's the thing. This one has actual high school interactions, right? It's not overly dramatic issues, which I also love. I love overly dramatic issues, but this is actually real.
Not everything is about a relationship.
No, almost nothing's about a relationship.
Right.
Like, this is just about being a high school student.
Yes.
Which, in the first episode, they nailed down right away with basically your main character, Lindsay, who... the whole first episode is just trying to do nice things for people, and they always blow up in her face.
Right.
Every single thing she tries, somebody's yelling at her for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thinking back on high school, my freshman, sophomore, even part of junior year, and even part of senior year too. High school sucked. Like, it did.
Yeah.
I thought high school really, really sucked. The dynamics at my high school, and they're the same at every single high school. Just, I never fit in with any of that.
Well, and it's just because of, like, exactly what's happening in this episode to Lindsay, right? Like, she's a nice person, and she's just helping people, but it never works.
Right.
Everyone has a problem with what everyone else is doing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So let's talk about let's go to the freaks first. Sam and his friends.
Yeah.
Their main problem in the first episode is that there's the school bully, Alan.
Right. Geeks. You said freaks.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Geeks.
We'll go with Geeks first.
Okay, school bully, yeah.
Yeah, there's the school bully. It shows dodgeball. You know, they're playing dodgeball. And they're terrified because they know they're just going to get pegged. You know, why? Yeah. They're asking, why do we play this? Why do we play this game?
The gym teacher is Biff Tannen.
Yep.
And he says... he's gonna give them the day off, and so one of the geeks is just like, "Oh, can we go home?" He's like, "No, I'm gonna let you play dodgeball," which is just the worst thing for these geeks. This is not a day off. This is the worst.
They know that they're gonna be the targets.
It just gives the jocks a reason to throw things at them.
Yeah. So I mean, one of my things growing up was I was always like the tallest kid, the biggest kid in class.
Yeah, so, you were a tall kid. You probably could have been good at dodgeball, right?
I could have, but I didn't really like it.
Right, yeah.
There's that dodgeball mentality of of being like the jock, kind of.
Yeah, you got to see red.
And that doesn't work for me.
Right.
That's not my thing. at all.
Just tasting the blood. That's not you.
Right. Yeah. A quick story. The only time I ever felt like that with dodgeball is when I worked at a summer camp where we had it was a Cub Scout camp, and the kids would come off the bus. Nothing by Friday, nothing felt better than beaming the kids with a ball.
Yeah,
that was we looked forward to that all the time.
Right. Yeah, that's the highlight.
Yeah. But yeah, but otherwise that just wasn't me. So I know that feeling of, dodgeball, great.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like I grew up in almost that exact situation, but like 10 years later.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
The gym teacher who was a jock himself, you can tell.
Oh, for sure.
Is like everyone's, at least from what I know of, that's like everyone's gym teacher growing up. The guy gym teacher.
Exactly. He says a line where it's like the geeks aren't moving, like in dodgeball. They're just kind of standing by the wall. They're not really moving around. Mm-hmm. And he says something like, "Stop putting on your mascara and play." Yeah. Like something like that. Like that's such a jock gym teacher thing to say, and like so offensive.
That's
right. It's terrible.
That's literally a line that I grew up hearing from my dad.
Oh, I know 5 people at least who are gym teachers right now who will say that line.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm going to be honest, like I hate you. Not you specifically, Dean.
No, I know. I actually hate that.
Yeah.
I hate when he says that. But like oh man, yeah, it's just such a thing where it's like the jock teacher says it, and like doesn't even think about it, right?
I can only speak from my experience. I didn't know you when I was the same age as these guys, but I hated those types of people. I hated that because that was the opposite of me. I'm guessing you were the same way. Yeah,
just stop putting on your mascara and play. It's man, it was infuriating just listening to it, but it's just a perfect stereotypical jock gym teacher.
Yeah, they nailed it 100%.
Yeah.
Like with the stories that I'm saying here, I can relate, and I think
totally.
A lot of people can relate to this show.
Yeah.
Cuz what we said earlier, it's real. It's real.
Yeah.
So there's going away from the gym thing and back to the bully Alan, they decide that after constant bullying, that they're going to stick up for themselves.
Yeah.
That they hear from, I think he's a senior now.
I think so. Yeah.
One of the older kids in the high school tells the story of when he had a bully as a freshman. Yeah. And what he did to get out of it. And you have to
stand up to him.
Yep.
Yeah, fight back.
And so they decide they're going to do that.
Yeah, that's the only way they can make him stop, the bully stop, is to fight back. And it's pretty good because at the beginning of the episode, Sam's the only one getting picked on by the bully. Oh, by the way, the bully only has one line and it's "you're dead."
Right.
And he says that about 800 times in the episode, which is, again, hilarious. Anything they ask him, any question they ask him, he just responds with "you're dead." But yeah, Sam is the only one being picked on, and early in the episode, he asks his friends, like, "Oh, why don't you stick up for me?" And they're like, "Well, then we're gonna get targeted by him." Yep. Like, that's just stupid. And then as the episode goes on, they make their little efforts to stick up for him, and now they're targeted as well. So they all decide that they need to fight him, and that's the only way this is gonna stop.
Yeah, yeah, and the other plot in there too is Sam has a crush on the cheerleader Cindy.
Right.
And so they decide, okay, this is the day that they're going to take on Alan. This is the day they're going to fight the bully. And Sam's 2 friends are out there. I should know their names right now, but I can't remember.
Bill and I'm going to say Neil, but I don't know if that's right.
That sounds right to me.
Okay.
So they go out, they're going to fight, and Sam's not there.
Because Sam's talking to Cindy.
Yep, he got caught.
Yeah. And okay, so I'm going to jump a bit because the fight happens and Sam isn't there. And then he shows up later and they all fought for him. They fought for Sam. And he's just like, oh yeah, sorry, I ran into Cindy. And they're like, oh, is she going to go to the dance with you?
How'd it go?
Like, they don't care that he wasn't there. They're so pumped for him that he was talking to Cindy. Like, I lost my mind in that moment.
Yeah.
Like, it was amazing. Like, at the beginning of the episode, they didn't even want to stick up for him because they were going to be targeted. And then by the end of the episode, they're fighting his battle and then pumped that he got to talk to the girl. He wasn't even there. Right. He wasn't even fighting with them. And he got to talk to the girl. It was great.
Yeah.
His talk with Cindy was hilarious. Like, okay, so I was Sam. Like, that was for sure me. Just like, oh yeah, let's go. Like, I like the cheerleader so much. And then when it comes time to talk, he's like, what are you doing? And she's like, she's in her cheerleader outfit.
Yeah.
And she's like, I got to cheer for the game. And he's like, well, you're certainly dressed for it. Like, just the worst line. Like, you can't say anything. It's just the worst.
Yep.
So he's busy doing that awkward thing. The group of guys are fighting Alan, who is saying you're dead through the whole time.
Yeah.
They rip his shirt, so he leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they stood up for their buddy, and it seems like it worked out.
Yeah. Now, Sam probably had more confidence than I did as a kid.
He did have a lot of confidence, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like he talked to Cindy. I probably wouldn't have even talked to Cindy.
Okay, so I had the confidence, but like I also had the Sam awkwardness. So like I'd be like, okay, I can do it because I know this is what you do. Right. And then like just walk up and be the worst. Like that was for sure me. And
I was far too self-deprecating for something like that.
So he like asks her to the dance and she's already got a date, but she says she'll save a dance for him. So when he gets to the dance, he goes up to her and asks for the dance, like the one dance, and she's like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And it's a slow dance because, yeah, perfect. Like, let's just slow dance.
Yeah, Come Sail Away.
Come Sail Away, exactly. And then it speeds up. If you know Come Sail Away, which is a fantastic song, it speeds up in the middle.
His face.
And as soon as as soon as they hit the dance floor, it's the fast part, and she starts dancing fast, and it's like the worst nightmare. I can see it in his face. This is my worst nightmare. Yep. Like, you're supposed to slow dance, and you're like, oh no, I don't have fast dance moves. And it was so perfect for an awkward 12-year-old, 13-year-old moment. Yeah. It just brought me back to being 13 years old when I made all those decisions, and all those mistakes.
All right, so that's the end of the episode, but we're going to stop there, go back to the beginning, and follow the freaks.
Yeah.
Now. And Lindsay Linda Cardinelli, I should know, I don't know all their names in the show, but Seth Rogen, James Franco, all of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jason Segel.
They're the freaks.
Right. And I love Lindsay's character because she's the geek. Okay. Yeah. She is super intelligent. They try to establish that she's like the smartest girl in the school.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But she hates that label.
Yeah.
She hates being the smart one. She's a teenager. She wants to rebel.
She's a teenager, and her grandma just died, and she was the only one with her grandma while she died, and it just made her think about life, and she just started to think, do I need to put all this effort into being smart? Like, do I need to put all this effort into school, or should I just find out what else there is in life?
Yeah, that was a great conversation she had with her brother. She mentioned she's the only one there, and she asks her grandma, she's dying, she says, do you see heaven? Is there a light? Is there a God? And the grandma says, no, there's nothing.
There's nothing. And she says grandma like only did good things in her life, and she gets nothing at the end. So this really rocked her. We don't really know what Lindsay was like before, but we know that she's different now.
Right. We know there's a conversation with one of her friends.
Yeah, this getting into the freaks group with she seems to know them a bit. Like, she knows James Franco. She knows they've talked before, and she kind of wants to get into that group now just to figure out what else there is.
Right.
Yeah.
And really the bulk of all of that is her with that group is her relationship with Jason Segel.
Yeah.
Is there you start to see that they get pretty close pretty fast.
Yeah, I'm going to throw out that, like, Jason Segel is super charming.
Right.
There is just something about him in this show that he's just super charming.
Isn't there, like, in most shows, though? I feel like he's just a charming person in general.
It is true, yeah, it is true. In other shows, like How I Met Your Mother, or in movies he is charming immediately.
Yeah, he's always someone, except for, what was the movie he did with Paul Rudd? Well, one of them. I'm sure they were in.
I Love You, Man?
I Love You, Man. Yeah.
He wasn't charming, he was gross.
Right. So except for that movie.
Yeah.
I feel like most of the time he's the character that I really relate to.
Totally. Yeah, I was just like, this guy's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this show is no exception. He's a really nice guy, and he's for a teenager, he's got a pretty good grasp of, at that moment, what he wants in life.
Yeah.
And that is to play the drums.
Yeah, exactly. He's got a sick drum kit. It's actually awesome.
Yeah, I like what he says to Lindsay about. I think it's something about teachers. You know, okay, the teachers want us to work. Fine, I'll put in the work, but it wants to be something that it needs to be something that I want to do.
Yes.
And that, I feel like that's a real 80s mentality.
Yeah.
I feel like that's when that really started to take over. Because before it was, sure, you're going to rebel, but what are you rebelling for? You know, you're just rebelling because that's a thing. But that's where you start to figure out, okay, I'm rebelling, but I want something more.
Yeah. And we should say that this show was, like, filmed in 1999,
right? But
it's set in the 80s.
Yes,
it's set in 1980.
Yeah, the 80s, a decade that I didn't see a single day of.
Wow, I saw a few days. Not many, but like over 1,000. I guess that's a lot.
Yeah, that's more. Okay, I was born in 91, so
you saw 0 of those days.
Zero.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, and things change definitely. There was a big difference between the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah.
Really. But
there were
still a lot of things that were the same. And I feel and one of the things about, like, coming of age stories, those are almost always that path, the saga of growing up is almost always going to be the same.
Yeah, definitely.
Everyone goes through the same stuff.
Yeah.
Like the same like types. If you had to apply categories and then you input your specific experiences into those, everyone goes through the same thing.
Yeah.
Some people have it worse, some people have it better, but for the most part, every kid grows up the same way.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got Jason Segel, who's, like, super charming, right? Mm-hmm. And has this plan, but then Seth Rogen is, like, a huge asshole.
Yeah.
And it was kind of so when Lindsay kind of meets the group, she already knows James Franco, but then she kind of meets the group and she meets Jason Segel and Seth Rogen, and Seth Rogen's a huge dick. And then you get a scene with Jason Segel and Lindsay, and he's super nice to her.
Right.
So that's where it just even adds a bit more, because when they were in a group talking together, Seth Rogen was mostly the jerk, but you kind of get the jerk feel of the group. Yeah. And then as they break off, you get Jason Segel being super nice and charming, and you're like, oh, okay, this guy is actually awesome.
Well, yeah, because everyone's different around their like core friends.
Around their buddies, yeah.
Right.
Seth, like, even though Seth Rogen kind of ticked me off how much of a jerk he was, but he has just some hilarious lines as always.
I knew like 3 Seth Rogens in high school.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Definitely. Like the guys that are just jerks, but they can deliver the line every now and then, right?
Like,
but
they say things, and they would say things to like teachers, and you're a kid, so you're like, okay, that's hilarious, but also I can't believe you just said that. I would never say that.
Totally.
So yeah, he's everyone knew a Seth Rogen type of character. He's not a good person. Like he's just not happy.
No.
And he wants like other people not to be happy.
Yeah.
And then there's the James Franco character in it. He's like the leader of the pack. Yeah.
James Franco's he's out there. He's different.
Yeah.
Right? He's the leader of the Freaks pack, but he's just kind of cool. Right? Like he just kind of doesn't care about stuff. He doesn't really care about school.
Right.
But he's not really a jerk to anybody. Like he's just kind of getting by.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is true. Like from what we see in the show, he really doesn't. He's not all that disrespectful to the teacher, to like authority figures.
No.
He does. If he gets punished, he takes it.
Yeah, he's never said something to like the geek group where like Seth Rogen will be like, "Get out of my way," or "What are you doing in my face?"
Right.
Like just like they don't really interact a lot, the Freaks and the Geeks, but when they do, like Seth Rogen's always shooing them away. But James Franco doesn't really, I don't know, he doesn't really acknowledge them or like in a negative way, right? He's not like picking on them intentionally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I really liked what they did with his character, and let's go to the last episode.
Okay. Yeah.
And we'll continue on with his character.
You know what?
I'm not going to give like a whole run. We're not going to give a whole rundown of the episode, but his character by the end he got in trouble for trying to pull the fire alarm to get out of taking a final exam. He
did not study.
So the counselor punishes him by putting him in the AV club.
Yeah, the AV club, which is like all the geeks' favorite part of school.
Right,
and he's getting punished by being put in that club.
It's a punishment.
It's a punishment to be in this, and they like in the beginning of the episode, they're like, "Oh, I love AV club." Like it's the best part of school.
So he gets put into there, and he's terrible at it. He's really bad.
Oh
he
yeah,
has no experience with it. But what's interesting is a lot of the geeks try and like immediately shut him out.
Yep.
They don't want anything to do with him.
Yep. Because why would he care about them?
Right.
So don't even give him the time of day.
But by the end of the episode, he's playing Dungeons and Dragons with the rest of the geeks.
I've never enjoyed James Franco more.
Right.
And he's like a big time actor in a lot of great things that I have enjoyed.
Yep.
And I have never enjoyed him more than this final episode.
Carlos the Dwarf.
Okay, so he's terrible at the AV stuff, and then Sam walks in on him, like, studying on his own. He's practicing the AV stuff. He's practicing putting a projector together and, like, fixing all the issues. He wants to be good at what he does. Like, so he's the guy who always slacks off at school, doesn't go to class, doesn't study for the finals, but he still wants to be good at the things that matter to other people. Right? Like, the class stuff, that doesn't affect other people, but the AV club does. So he wants to be good at that. And then they invite him, they start talking, so in the AV club, they start talking about Dungeons and Dragons, and they're talking about a sword that can fight your battles for you.
You have to be at least 3 inches.
Yeah, so at first he's just like, oh, we just send the sword off to battle and sit at home? That's stupid. And they're like, well, no, you have to be 3 inches away from the sword so you can actually fight 2 people at once. And he goes, oh, that's kind of cool. And then they invite him to Dungeons and Dragons, and he's playing Dungeons and Dragons with them by the end of the show, and he's totally into it, and he loves it, and they're all so accepting to him, and he's nice to them. And after he's going, the campaign's over, and he's going to get drinks, and he's like, oh, who wants drinks? And like, no one wants it, so he leaves, and then they're all talking amongst themselves, and they're like, is he a geek now, or are we cool? Like, what happened here?
Yeah.
And they all agree that they're cool now because James Franco likes Dungeons and Dragons, not that he's a geek now.
Right.
Yeah. It was fantastic. Like, I loved that James Franco storyline in that final episode.
Yeah.
Like I said, never enjoyed him more.
Yeah, we get a lot of Lindsay's story there too.
Definitely,
she
yeah.
had started dating Jason Segel's character at some point, but they're no longer together, and he has another girlfriend, and he's now into disco.
Yeah, he's into disco. They're not together, and apparently he's doing things. He's into disco, and he's dating this other girl to get back at Lindsay. Now it doesn't say why they broke up, but because I'm an expert on the show, I know that it was like a classic high school plot line where like Lindsay wanted to progress the relationship physically, and Jason Segel's character didn't. He didn't feel comfortable with it, so they broke up.
Oh, that's usually how these high school relationships go.
Exactly. One of them wants to go further, and the other one's like, I'm not sure I'm ready, and then they break up because teenagers are stupid.
Right, of course that's what happened in the show.
Yeah.
I will accept no substitute.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I know what happened. Right. I could feel the chemistry between them in the scenes.
Right.
Yeah.
So she gets accepted to this like smart kids summit at the University of Michigan.
Yeah.
And she hates that has happened.
Yeah, she's like so smart, right? Like it shows all the show. It shows that she's not really trying very hard, but she always is mentioned as having great grades and being the mathlete. And like she was chosen in like the 1% of students who get invited to this summit. She's just a genius, basically.
Yep.
But she doesn't want it.
Right.
Like she does. Well, not that she doesn't want it. I think she just doesn't want to be directed where her life needs to go.
Exactly. She's going to figure it out for herself.
Yeah, she wants to figure it out for herself. She doesn't want to be like, oh, I did well on this test, so I have to do this. Right. She wants to be able to decide what she wants to do.
So Counselor Jeff gives her his Grateful Dead record.
Counselor Jeff.
Yeah. And she's like, okay, whatever. You know, this is I have this record. I don't really care about it. Yeah. But then she's in the lunchroom and she walks past this table and there's two kids sitting there and they bring up the record and they start telling her how cool it is. They follow around during the summer. They follow around the Grateful Dead. They go to all their concerts. Yeah. And so she goes home and she puts on the record and she is just enamored with it.
Yeah.
And so we'll just get right to the end. Instead of, so her parents take her to the bus stop to send her to the University of Michigan to go do her thing.
Yeah.
But instead of going after her family leaves, she gets into the bus with the Grateful Dead kids.
Yes, to follow them on tour.
Yep.
To follow the Grateful Dead on tour.
She's gonna make her own way.
Yeah. I liked this.
Yeah.
I like this ending a lot. The whole point is that, like, she's smart. So her dad is like, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this because you got the grades in these areas. And she's just not sure that's what she wants to do. Like, that's the scene where she's at the table with her father and she's like, can we not just have a discussion about anything? Like, can't we just talk about something? I didn't say I didn't want to go. I just said I don't understand why you would go to something like this. Right. So I really like that she made the decision to do what she wanted. Like, she really liked that Grateful Dead album. So, and she met these people that follow them in the summer. So yeah, let's go do that. Yeah. Why do I have to do this other thing? Just because I was accepted to this other thing doesn't mean I have to do it if I don't want to do it.
It's not not like blueprints.
Exactly. It's an option. Yeah. I just really liked it.
Yeah.
It really hit for me.
Absolutely. So let's go into, we're already over an hour here. Let's just get to Zero and Hero. Hero and Zero.
Let's do it.
I said that the wrong way.
Yeah, because you gotta get back to House of Cards.
Right. I do. I got stuff to do, people.
Yeah. Okay, let's do it.
So, Dean, you go. It was my pick, so you go.
Zero. We didn't mention her for a second in this podcast, but yeah, it's Kim. Kim is one of the freaks. She's dating James Franco, and she just giving Lindsay attitude for no reason right at the beginning.
Yep.
Just because Lindsay is part of the group now, she's just like, I guess she wants to be the only female as part of the group. So she gives Lindsay attitude, even though Lindsay is just trying to help her out. She asks for gum. Lindsay's like, oh, I have it. And she dumps her purse. Like, Kim dumps Lindsay's purse over.
Yep.
It's just for no reason. And that's where Seth Rogen says, that's why I don't carry a purse.
You stole my line. That was going to be my line later.
Okay,
I had that ready to go right here. That's exactly why I don't carry a purse.
That's exactly why. Yeah, so that was terrible. And then at another scene, she's picking on Sam just for smiling at her, which he actually wasn't. He was smiling at someone. He was smiling at someone behind her, and she just like gives him hell and picks on him and embarrasses him. And she was the worst. I didn't like Kim at all.
Yeah, no, she's pretty awful.
Yeah, and Kim she's actually another decently big actress, right? She was in Cougar Town.
Is she? I don't know. I don't watch that show.
Okay, yeah, she's another like decently big name that was in the show.
Okay. I mean, I know I've seen her before, but I don't watch Cougar Town.
Yeah. I can't remember her name. Her name is Busy Phillips, I think.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay.
Now, okay, that was your zero.
That's my zero, yeah.
My zero was the gym teacher.
Oh yeah,
like
totally.
I absolutely hate.
You just know that guy.
It's the stereotypical super jock. It's like if the gym teacher from Glee was a guy and a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we already talked about him. He's definitely my zero. Who's your hero?
Oh yeah. My hero is Lindsay, the, I guess, obvious hero of the show, but like she's trying to be a good person, and like the first episode, she's just really trying to be nice to everyone, and she doesn't really fit into any of these groups, but she's just trying to work it out, and it's never really working out. At the end of the first episode, actually, there's a really nice moment where she does go dance with the boy that no one wants to dance with, and it works out. She's dancing, he's dancing, they're having a good time, and she kind of starts to tear up in her eyes. It was a beautiful moment.
The end of the first episode is fantastic.
It's fantastic. High school is like a big struggle for her. She's smart. Like, it shouldn't be, right? She's smart, she's pretty, she's nice.
Yep. It
should be easy, and it's not. And yeah, high school just doesn't make sense for people because it's high school stupid, and she's my hero for sure.
Okay, you made it really easy for me. I just get to say and that.
Yeah,
because she's also my hero.
She's the best of the show.
One of those reasons. I don't need to go on any more than that.
Yeah,
she's great, and I'm going to give my rating.
Okay, go.
I got it all ready to go here, and I loved this show back when I first watched it. And I just fell in love all over again with it, watching it again for this show. Another show. And it's easy. It really is easy to come up with this rating. And
lay it on me.
It's a 10. This show's a 10. Absolutely.
Wow.
100%.
Big rating.
Yep.
Okay, so my rating... NBC, why did you cancel this show? 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
No,
look at that.
No question. 10 out of 10. Why did you cancel? I don't get it. I don't know why this show was canceled. I don't care. I'm watching it all. Amazing show.
Yeah. Please continue to watch it.
Easy rating. Easiest rating of the whole first last we've done. 10 out of 10. Easy rating.
Dean, that's the second week in a row that we've matched on ratings.
I know. And the only other time we both tend it. We Soprano'd 10 out of 10.
Right. Well, I also gave a 10 to MASH.
Oh, wow. You just let those 10s fly.
I do. Okay, you always pick on me for saying that I'm so critical of these shows. But look at that. MASH got a 10, Sopranos got a 10, Freaks and Geeks got a 10, and those are all my picks. Yeah.
We're aligning now. The stars are aligning. Flash forward, Freaks and Geeks, same ratings. I mean, who knows what next week holds, but I'm going to guess it's going to be the same rating.
We'll see what happens. I don't know
we'll
what
see.
We're watching yet. All right. Well, until then, let's get out of here.
All right. They didn't say you were allowed to do magic.